We can have good companies, good investors, good promotion. The government and also the ministers going all over, trade mission, promoting Malaysia. But problem starts when investors reach our shore. That is when regulatory burden starts. Now, of course, regulations are good, but regulation must be facilitating. I think citizens at large, they would like to adhere to regulation because regulations, they do have objective to ensure safety, security, to ensure environmental aspect is well taken care and all that. But the issue is we are talking about burdensome regulation, unnecessary regulation. Because sometimes over time, some of the regulations may not be the best regulation in place because you have to look at changing in terms of context, environment, requirement and all that. We have to look at having good regulation to really support economic growth, to ensure economy is growing and people find it easy to do business. Okay, you see, regulations are basically developed by regulators. Regulators are ministries, agencies, the public sector organizations. They are the regulators. The impacted parties will be the businesses and citizens. Okay, any regulations that you develop, objective must be very clear. Problem must be very clear. What is the problem you want to handle, and of course, impact assessment. You see, every situation, every cases, every issue, you will have to approach differently. Whether it is something got to do with environment, it's something about safety and all that. So you will need to have the right methodology. We have what we call this established technical working group, looking into issues. All right, and this technical working group actually private sector driven, and the private sector will work with the government. All right, so. As I've said, you can develop regulations. Regulations are developed by regulators. Regulators have their perspective. And normally their perspective is more of enforcing to make sure that people follow. So that's why development of regulation is not just something that should be confined just among public sector organizations alone. They must do engagement with the business community by understanding what the business wants. Okay, productivity is not just about doing more. It's not about producing more. Because productivity, because if you go by the simple definition of productivity, is about doing more for less. So when we say doing more, you're not just doing more, because the ratio or the method when we measure productivity is output over input. Meaning to say what you produce, measure against resources that you use or input that you use.